Why they not like Snow White? The reason why is that the actress that plays Snow White, she acts like a
It's the most emotional experience that a person can go through to know that what they're working on is something that has reached a generation of people.
Oh my God.
Excuse me, your curtain. Please allow me to help.
Help? From you?
I didn't mean to offend. I just thought you should know that
That I should know what? That some privileged white guy thinks his opinion matters? Get over your entitlement. I'm not some damsel in distress waiting for you to ride in on your high.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
They're remaking the movie. They just got rid of the dwarfs. Okay,
but what do they call them?
Why would they get rid of the dwarves, though?
Magical creatures.
But they have one token dwarf amongst these magical creatures. You actually just went backwards. You actually just erased the dwarfism side of it. The disability, like we're a disability group. You just erased that whole image. The argument should have been from Peter Dinklage. There's power of being on TV. There's power of television. And to put 7 people with dwarfism on camera in a major Disney movie, there's still power there. If the story is offensive, change the story. Don't change the characters.
This is no ordinary apple, my dear. It's a magic wishing apple. A wishing apple? You offer it to me freely. In place of the patriarchy, you would have a queen! Not white, but diverse, inclusive, and equitable! I will become the leader I know I can be! All shall love me and despair!
Oh, what has she done to you? Fear not. First love's kiss can break any curse.
Every time she speaks, she gets less likable. There's some clip of her on the internet in her Snow White outfit saying, every hour I am in the outfit of Snow White wearing the dress. All 18 hours, I deserve to be paid for every single one. Oh, really? Are you having trouble paying your bills, Rachel? Did Steven Spielberg not pay you for your role in West Side Story? Did Disney fail to give you a healthy paycheck for, like, cry me a river. She's just exactly everything that we can't stand.
I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is.
I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Say it louder so your other eye can hear you.
So we didn't do that this time.
Disney spent nearly $250 million trying to rebrand Snow White for a modern audience. What did they get? Not box office gold, but a viral punchline. In one savage move, Family Guy turned the entire reboot into a laughingstock. And it wasn't just the film in the crosshairs, it was Disney's whole era of remakes. They didn't even need to say Rachel Zegler's name. The implication was so clear, the roast hit even harder. Audiences saw it and knew. This wasn't about one movie. It was about a culture clash that's been building for years. In one viral scene, Peter Griffin walks through Disneyland while a roller coaster labeled Disney Stock crashes in the background. Subtle? Not even close. Family Guy was broadcasting what fans were already screaming online. Disney's obsession with reinvention is backfiring. Fast. Then came the identity joke. Peter gets whiplashed trying to figure out who's a girl, a guy, a cat, a dog, until he snaps, "What is everything?" Funny on the surface, but beneath the chaos, a brutal commentary on Hollywood's shifting identity politics. The line exploded into meme culture, echoing a sentiment that's been bubbling for years. We just want stories again. If Family Guy was a jab, South Park threw a haymaker. In their Joining the Panderverse special, they didn't just mock Snow White, they broke the formula behind it. They introduced a fictional Kathleen Kennedy wielding the Pander Stone, a magical object that lets her insert diverse women into every franchise, regardless of whether it makes any sense. Cartman's multiverse nightmare, where every character is a box-checking reboot, felt absurd. But it landed because, well, it wasn't that far off from real headlines. The standout line? South Park's mock Kennedy yelling, "Put a chick in it and make her gay." That one sentence became a rallying cry, or a critique anthem, depending on who you ask. But here's the twist. The people laughing hardest weren't angry fans. They were everyday viewers, because satire only hits this hard when it's rooted in truth. Suddenly, the conversation shifted from just another remake to what the heck is Disney even doing anymore?
And if you disagree with the sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks.
I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it. You didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White. Right. You should shut up and do the job.
What started as a casting controversy quickly turned personal, and Rachel Zegler found herself at the epicenter of it all. At first, she did what any actor would do when facing backlash. She tried to defend her role. She posted a TikTok smiling, upbeat, pushing back against the hate with messages of empowerment and modern representation. But what should have been a moment of solidarity quickly unraveled, because Rachel didn't just defend her version of Snow White, she went after the original. In interviews, she dismissed the 1937 classic as weird, implied the prince was a stalker, and said the entire film was problematic by today's standards. And that hit fans like a slap in the face. You don't have to love the old version, but if you're stepping into an iconic role, there's an expectation, at least pretend to respect the legacy. Instead, Rachel came off as someone who didn't understand, or worse, didn't care. And that's where the tide turned. Fans weren't just upset, they were insulted. Suddenly, it wasn't about diversity or casting choices. It was about attitude. And Rachel Zegler's became the story. She wasn't trending for her acting anymore. She was trending for the drama, the quotes, the TikToks, all of it. Disney was counting on her to carry the film, but she was now carrying a scandal instead. Just when the situation seemed like it couldn't possibly get more chaotic, it did. And this time, it exploded beyond Hollywood. During the height of the Israel-Gaza conflict, Rachel Zegler joined dozens of other actors and celebrities in signing an open letter demanding a ceasefire. It was a bold political statement. And in today's climate, bold usually means divisive. But the real problem wasn't the statement itself. It was what happened next. Because Rachel's Snow White co-star, Gal Gadot, is famously pro-Israel. She served in the Israeli military and has long voiced her support for her country. So now you had two stars of the same film on opposite sides of a global conflict. Overnight, Snow White stopped being just a movie. It became a proxy for a geopolitical flashpoint. Then came the shocker. Lebanon officially banned the film, not because of Rachel, but because of Gal Gadot. She's been on Lebanon's boycott list for years, meaning any film with her is automatically blocked. But that headline lit social media on fire. Suddenly, people were asking, how did we go from fairy tales to foreign policy? Disney, a company that built its empire on escapism, now found itself dragged into one of the most polarizing conflicts in the world, with no easy way out. And if anyone at Disney was still holding out hope that the controversy would just blow over, the box office delivered a harsh wake-up call. Snow White came with a colossal budget between $240 and $270 million. Add another $100 million or so in marketing and promotion, and you're looking at one of the most expensive remakes in Disney history. The expectations, massive. The reality, brutal. Globally, it pulled in just $184 million. That's not a stumble. That's a financial disaster. Industry insiders called it a nuclear flop. Executives stopped talking about projections. Investors stopped asking for updates. And fans, they started posting memes comparing the film's earnings to the Emoji Movie. But here's where things get even darker. Insiders began pointing fingers, and one name kept coming up. Jonah Platt, son of Snow White's producer, Mark Platt, didn't mince words. He flat out blamed Rachel Zegler's interviews, her social media presence, her tone. He said what others were too afraid to say out loud, that her public image had hurt the film more than any critic or boycott ever could. The box office failure wasn't just about a controversial casting choice. It was about a brand, a film, and a star that couldn't stop stepping on their own story. And that was the moment people started using the word irreparable. You'd think that would be the end of it. But if there's one thing Hollywood should have learned by now, it's this. The internet never forgets. And Family Guy, it doesn't forgive either. The show doubled down, revisiting one of its most infamous episodes, Quagmire's dad. In it, a transgender character named Ida is introduced. When Brian, the dog, realizes he accidentally slept with her, he vomits. repeatedly. The scene triggered outrage when it first aired and still does today. So why bring it up now? Because that moment became a symbol of Family Guy's refusal to follow rules. They don't apologize. They don't bend. And when they turn their attention to a topic like Disney's casting controversies or identity-driven storytelling, they go all in. They don't just parody it, they eviscerate it. Which is exactly what happened when they started roasting Snow White and modern Disney. They're not alone either. You've got late-night comedians cracking jokes about Disney being out of touch, satirical news outlets mocking their obsession with checking boxes, and fan-made edits racking up millions of views, cutting Rachel Zegler's interviews next to clips of the original Snow White with captions like "From Magic to Madness." The backlash isn't isolated anymore. It's mainstream, and it's unrelenting. There's one last animated titan still circling, The Simpsons. And if, or more likely when, they strike, it could be the final nail in the coffin. Unlike Family Guy or South Park, The Simpsons doesn't need to be edgy to hit hard. Their satire lands because it reflects reality with just enough exaggeration to sting. And lately, they've been inching closer and closer to calling out their own corporate overlords. Remember, Disney owns The Simpsons. That didn't stop the show from mocking Marvel fatigue, endless Star Wars spin-offs, and the company's obsession with remakes. In one episode, Lisa even jokes about how Disney's gonna remake this moment with a more diverse cast in 5 years. It was funny, and it was a warning. If The Simpsons decides to mock Rachel Zegler, Snow White, or the checklist casting strategy, it won't be another joke. It'll be a cultural turning point because The Simpsons still carries weight, still holds credibility. And when they turn against a company, it hits differently. It tells viewers something's changed, that even inside the Disney castle, people are starting to look for the exits. If they go full throttle with a parody, it won't just be commentary, it'll be confirmation that Disney has officially lost control of the narrative, even within its own empire. Here's the hard truth. This was never just about one movie or one actress. It's about trust. Disney used to be the gold standard. Now it's the punchline. Audiences aren't angry about diversity. They're exhausted by lectures. People paid for wonder and got wokeness. Executives are reportedly scrambling, whispering about delays, possible recasts, or shelving projects altogether. But no press release can undo what's already baked into the public mindset. Even rival studios are watching carefully, adjusting their strategies, desperate not to become the next Disney. Because if things don't change soon, Tangled won't just flop. It'll be the closing chapter in a cautionary tale that started with a poisoned apple and ended with a poisoned brand.